Hello, and thank you for coming out today, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at business communication in Norway and what it takes to do good business in Norway. First, we're going to take a look at Norway and the United States and the relationship that we have. Norway and the United States have had a positive relationship for more than 100 years, starting with Norway's separation from Sweden. They were inspired by the American Revolution, and we have been friends ever since. Norway and the United States have a mutually beneficial relationship, with the United States and Norway benefiting each other. Norway provides almost 500,000 jobs to the United States, as well as the United States being one of Norway's primary exporting targets. It is for these reasons and more that it is important to do good business with Norway. Norway is a thriving economy, and we need to take advantage of that in a good way. In order to communicate well in a Norwegian business setting, you need to understand the culture of Norwegians. Norway is an egalitarian society. They place a large amount of value on equality. Now, this is shown with men and women being truly equal, unlike the United States. Men and women will make the same wages for the same jobs, and women have the same amount of potential as men in this economy. Another part of this egalitarianism is shown in their demographics. Most people have the same religion. Most people are Christian in the Lutheran Church, and they work the same hours, 8 to 5, and have similar lifestyles. Most people in Norway are like a nuclear family. They work from 8 to 5, and then after that, they are living their life with their family. Now, a lot of Norwegian culture is governed by Jante law. It's an old system of codes that have been taught to Norwegians ever since they were young. The long and short of Jante law is that nobody is superior, no one is inferior. This has led to their culture being focused on the society as a whole and not the individual. In Norway, there isn't really much of a social class structure, nor is there a lot of that in the professional scene. Norwegians have a healthy work-life balance. Work stays within work hours, and when Norwegians are not working, they are not working. Norwegians are allowed 25 vacation days a year, and they do not talk about work on their vacation days. It's just not a thing that happens. Now that we understand Norwegian culture with equality and a healthy work-life balance, now we can talk about Norwegian etiquette. When doing business in another country, it is important to maintain proper etiquette. Now that we understand Norwegian culture, we can move on to proper etiquette. One of the most important pieces of etiquette when working with Norwegians in a business setting is to maintain eye contact. In America, it is not as important to maintain eye contact for the duration of a conversation. That isn't what we do here. In Norway, while you are talking to someone, it is important to maintain eye contact with them. It is considered rude if you do not. This is because in day-to-day life, Norwegians are accustomed to making eye contact with each other, especially when it is someone they respect. If you do not maintain eye contact with someone, it'll be taken as a sign of disrespect. Moving on to our next point. When you meet someone in Norway, it is important to shake their hands, just like when you do in America. However, in America, it is not required to shake hands at the end of an interaction. In Norway, it is important to shake hands at the beginning and the end of each meeting. Norwegians take respect seriously. And that brings us to our next point. Don't be, quote-unquote, extra. Norwegians don't appreciate flashy taglines or extra conversational points the same way Americans do. Norwegians want us to get straight to the point in our business setting, and they do not appreciate small talk. When showing up to a meeting, Norwegians take punctuality seriously. Here in our country, we can be 10 minutes late as long as we make a phone call. There's a lot of traffic. It's okay. We understand. In Norway, there's less of a tolerance for that. They expect someone to leave early for a meeting that they want to show up to. So if you're late, they take that as you not being prepared, and they will take that personally, oftentimes resulting in the loss of a sale or a meeting. Don't talk about personal details in the workplace. Oftentimes, when making small talk in a business setting in America, we'll talk about what we're doing after work or what we're doing this weekend. In Norway, they do not like to talk about that. A lot of people don't like sharing personal details, and a lot of Norwegian culture is different from American culture, and so we might not understand what they're doing, and they might take offense to that. So it's better to not ask about personal details in the workplace and to let work be at work and out of work be out of work. And on our final point on Norwegian etiquette, when in conversation, when you reach a moment of silence, let it linger. Oftentimes in American business meetings, we will try to fill moments of silence with extra conversation. In Norway, they're accustomed to using these moments to reflect and think about the deal they're making. Let these moments of silence linger so the Norwegian business people can use them to think, and let us learn from them and use silence to think as well. Now that we understand a little bit of Norwegian etiquette, let's move on to communication in Norway. Business communication in Norway is handled differently than it is in America. In Norway, communication is seen as a way to ensure a mutually beneficial relationship and to ensure mutual gains. Business deals in Norway are meant to take place over the long term. In America, we'll oftentimes focus on the short-term value of a deal or what we can make right after the deal. In Norway, they're focused on 5 to 10 years in the future. How can our company help their company for years to come? That is what they're interested in. So when you're doing deals in Norway, when you're in meetings in Norway, think about the long-term implications of your deal and communicate them clearly and efficiently, and we will be well received. Due to the egalitarian culture in Norway, social and professional status mean less than they do in America. So don't let your position discourage you from talking to the CEO in Norway because they're interested in your ideas. You can be a low-ranking employee with a really good idea, and as long as you communicate that your idea is good, then the CEO of a company won't have any hesitations listening to you, even though you are a lower-ranking employee. This goes to their social hierarchy as well. There isn't a large difference between their upper class and their middle class, and in Norway's culture, there is not a very large disparity in income. When you're in a business meeting, get straight to the point and communicate clearly. Norwegians really do appreciate that. Now that we've talked about Norwegian culture, communication, and etiquette, let's talk about some ways that they are different from the United States. Some major differences that Norway has from the United States is that the United States is an individually focused country. People focus on themselves and how they can promote themselves, their company, and what this deal can bring to them. This works in the United States. People totally get it when you leave one company to go to another company because you'll be getting paid more. Or if you make a deal that brings more to you, people will still want you to sell that idea even if it brings less to your partner. In Norway, that does not fly. They are focused on the society. And this is partially because there is not a large range of incomes in their country. And so because of that, people want to get the group to succeed as opposed to the individual. United States has a focus on aggressive marketing campaigns. And this is because we want people to buy our stuff. And it works pretty well in America. But it would not work as well with Norwegians. They're not as receptive to aggressive marketing campaigns. Americans do not like silence. We will often try to fill our silent moments with words. Norwegians relish silence and use it as a moment to think. Lastly, Norwegians have a healthy work-life balance. You will not see a Norwegian working on their vacation, but oftentimes in the United States, people will work on their vacations because they feel as if they have no choice. Now let's review some of our key findings from this PowerPoint. Number 1, don't make assumptions about a Norwegian's personal life. In fact, leave it out of the workplace entirely, and you'll be okay. Be polite and direct. Norwegians are a reserved culture, so by being polite and direct in a business meeting, they'll be able to appreciate what you are saying. Number 3, keep body language to a minimum. When you're talking to someone in a business setting, don't speak with your hands. Norwegians are more receptive to what you are saying and less how you are saying it. Putting body language into your conversation might confuse your meaning. Maintain eye contact. Norwegians place a lot of importance on eye contact, and they associate it directly with respect. When you're talking to someone, make sure you are maintaining eye contact with them. Number 5, silence is okay. When you're in a business meeting and you bring up a point and you're greeted with silence, let it linger. They're thinking about your point. Number 6, social status is not as important as it is in America. In Norway, they don't care if you're the CEO of a company or the secretary. If you have a good idea, it's a good idea. If you have good references, you have good references. Social status is not really much of a thing in their society, so they only get to experience it from an outside view. Make sure you shake hands at the beginning and the end of each interaction. Every time you meet someone, make sure you shake their hands. Number 8, choose your words carefully. Make sure that when you're doing business in Norway, you mean everything that you say, because they will remember everything that you say and they will bring it back up. Number 9, do not be late. In Norway, punctuality is directly associated with respect. In America, if you're late, people think it's because of traffic. Just give them a call. Don't be late in Norway. They will not appreciate it. Number 10, work and life are separate. When you're talking with someone in a work setting, you're talking with them in a work setting. But if you run into them on the street, they will not be receptive to what you have to say. So make sure that you keep your work and personal life separate when in Norway, and you will be able to accomplish the largest amount of success. Following these 10 rules, along with doing independent research on local customs, will allow each and every one of us to succeed in our business ventures in Norway. Now let's go over a quick summary here. Norwegian culture is different than the culture of the United States. Do not approach doing business in Norway the same way you would approach doing business in the United States. Otherwise, you will not have success. Norwegians are focused on equality, be it in the business deal or social rights. Treat everybody equally and make sure that when you are proposing a deal, you and them get the same amount of profit and success. Make sure it's a mutually beneficial long-term deal. Do not be late, presumptuous, or aggressive. None of those things will succeed in Norway. And just understand that Norwegians are more reserved than Americans. Don't speak more than you have to. Don't come on stronger than you need to, because you might startle them and they might not want to do business than you if they think you're unpredictable or aggressive. A quote to keep in mind when doing business in another country is that making ethical choices across cultures can seem complicated, but you can keep your message ethical by applying 4 basic principles. Actively seek mutual ground, send and receive messages without judgment, send messages that are honest, and show respect for cultural differences. Following those pieces of advice, just being genuine to your word and being polite will get you very far in life in Norway and in America. Thank you for listening. You can contact me on my phone or email on most any day. I appreciate all you guys coming out to listen, and I truly believe that we will have a lot of success in our business ventures. Here are my references, and thank you for your time. Have a great day.